Okay, great. Hi, everybody. Welcome. I call the meeting to order and I move to approve the minutes from last week's meeting as submitted to the committee. I'd look for a second.
I second.
Excellent. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, great. Thank you, everybody. Thank you to anyone who's joining us on YouTube. We really appreciate your continued participation. Next week, June 8th, 7:30, right here on the YouTube channel, we're going to have our public launch meeting. We're really looking forward to that. We're going to be discussing it and getting ready for it tonight. Tonight is a really quick meeting, half an hour. On Thursday, we're going to be right back here, and we're going to have Jan, who's the town planner, Jan Johansson. He's going to be giving us an overview of comprehensive planning, so you can tune into that as well. Okay, so with that, let's kick off our half an hour. I'm just going to share the agenda. Okay, great. So Larry, I'm going to have you kick things off to give us an update on survey status. It's pretty much final at this point. You did an amazing job of incorporating everybody's feedback and input, so thank you so much for that. Yeah, why don't you just give us a quick update on where you're at, and then we can talk about distribution for the survey as well.
All right, sounds good. I just want to do a quick sound check. Can you hear me okay?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Great. Okay. All right. So yes, we do have a survey now. It's about 12 questions or so. I've had a number of people kind of beta testing it, including the people on the committee, just to check to make sure none of the questions are confusing and that the questions capture the information that we'd like to collect from respondents. So it is pretty much ready to go. It's all loaded up into the software package SurveyMonkey that we'll use to distribute it digitally at least. And we're just, once we have our paid account set up, we'll be ready to begin sending it out, or at least sending out links to the community. So we're very close to it being ready, and we can make final changes to any of the questions if any of them are unclear. Although I think we're in good shape at this point. So yeah, basically that's the update. We're pretty much ready to go, and then the responses to that survey are collected and can be looked at and analyzed in real time. But I anticipate that we'll have the survey available for residents and other interested members of the community to fill out for an extended period of time. And then those responses can be used, and that information that we collect can be used by the respondents to the RFP, which we intend to send out to potential planning firms and other consultants that could help us through this process. So that's ready. It's pretty much ready to go. And I guess what I wanted to talk about a little bit tonight is just about how to distribute it. And I had envisioned, and I think the committee had envisioned, that we would distribute it in 2 different ways. And I just wanted to check in and make sure that we're still all on the same page. And those 2 different ways are digitally, where we could either send out a link where somebody can click through to the survey and fill out the responses. And then also, I do think it's important that we have some hard copies that are available if somebody wants to fill it out outside of the web and the internet. So I anticipate that we would have some hard copies of the survey that we can print out and have available for members of the community to fill out. And I anticipate that those places would be at the town offices, maybe Parks and Recreation, and the library, although I have not talked to the library board or the library manager about that yet.
Okay, great.
Oh.
Yeah, I do think we're all in agreement. Can I just get a show of hands? Raise your hand, please, if you agree we are distributing digitally and also in some form hard copies. Okay, yeah, everybody
Okay.
agrees on that.
So, and then when we're distributing it digitally, I do believe that we need to have some control over it. And what I mean when I say that is on the agenda, we do have like Facebook with a question mark. And my concern is just that if it, if it gets distributed widely, I mean, I guess there is room for the survey responses to kind of become corrupted. If there's some reason why somebody wants to screw up the survey results, we could get people outside the community or people within the community that just, with ill intent, kind of filling out responses to the survey and throwing off what would otherwise be a good representative sample of the community responses. So I would suggest that we don't distribute it widely on social media, and that the digital versions of it would be hosted on the town. The link would be hosted on the town website, or else it would be distributed to like known email addresses of people that are within residents or other people of interest within the community, where we have legitimate email addresses. And I guess there's always room for the responses to be, I'll say, corrupted a little bit if those emails get forwarded or links get forwarded. But nevertheless, I think we should make some efforts to try to control that a little bit.
I agree.
I have a question. I noticed that I clicked the link and did the survey, and then I went back into the email and clicked the link again, and it said you've already taken the survey. And we don't need to have the answer to this now, but do we know if it's sensitive to the email address you're clicking from, or if it's an IP address sensitivity? Because I think that would be good to know, like, if it's an IP address sensitivity, then multiple people in a household might have trouble filling it out, but it would definitely prevent someone from answering it multiple times.
Right. So, Katie, that's a really good question. And I don't have the answer for the committee to that question right now.
No problem.
But certainly, I think it's good that you tested it, and that the program that we want to use does have some controls, so that somebody that wants to kind of make the results come out a certain way will have a more difficult time trying to do that. So I think that's one of the good features of using software like this that's made specifically for surveys.
Yeah, there's some kind of fail-safe there. It's just not clear how exactly it works. My other comment is that, Larry, you designed the survey in a really smart way that it does encourage and welcome people who are outside our community to respond, and it, gives them a chance to identify what their connection is to the community, if they're a resident, if not, et cetera. So if people in different towns want to respond, they are more than welcome to. They just will click that they're not a resident and explain why they're answering. So it's, we do have flexibility there, and we can filter the results to show residents only, show all respondents, et cetera.
Okay. Yeah. So I think any survey, if we were really trying to get statistical sample, we would need to start collecting information from individuals as far as like names or addresses or some kind of identifier. And we agreed that we didn't want or need to do that. But I think that would be, if we were really looking for a statistical sample rather than opinions from residents, I think that would be something that we would need to consider.
Yeah,
I think
we might get there eventually.
I think it's really good to get an idea of if we're reaching people. and what we have to do more. I don't suspect we have to do less, but what we have to do more to get people interested in it and just really involved in it.
Mhm. The wider reach, the better.
Yeah, and we'll see, who is answering, who's not answering. Are we getting a lot, little? And then the consultants, of course, can help us, and that will be a good benchmark for them.
Does anybody else have feelings about publicizing on Facebook versus not?
I'm highly against it. I just think Facebook leaves too many issues that we might not want to deal with.
I agree.
So we're putting it on the town website, right?
Yeah.
On the town website.
And we'll be using town distribution channels to advertise it. Yeah. And we can put flyers. We can have some paper copies available, but we can also have flyers that have the link. Yeah.
Yeah, you can stick flyers in the post offices, actually. That's
Mhm. Okay, post
Do you
office.
think that this school would be of any help? Yeah, okay, John. Just asking.
not saying a word, Charlene.
Just asking.
Okay. Well, this is a good plan to start. And, we're going to have this available for quite some time. We haven't, figured an end date yet, but we can always adjust as we go. And okay, there's a majority of people that are against posting directly on Facebook. So we're going to respect that majority. Let's see. Does anybody, and maybe this is a question for Jane, but does anybody want to volunteer to partner directly with Parks and Rec Department and see if they can help us reach the senior citizens group?
I can help on that.
Okay, and Jane can help too. She's raising
Yeah.
her hand. Okay, great. Thank you for that.
So I have a couple survey comments, functionality.
Sure.
So whether it's check all that apply or check multiple boxes, I'm not sure. Larry, do we have the functionality or do we need the paid version? So in other words, first question, what's your connection to the town? Do you live here or do you work here? Well, maybe both. You may work for the town and live here. And then when you go on to like deeper into the survey where it says like, what do you like about the town? Might want to say, if you can do it, check all that apply or there are multiple boxes. So can I check, I like open space and I like the quality of the education. So can I check multiple boxes?
I'm gonna stop there. We don't have much more time, and I like those comments to be made offline. And I don't mean to be draw too much of a hard line here, but we did set a clear deadline on when survey feedback was due, and I want to respect everybody's time for the work they've put into that offline. So any other questions about distributing the survey? Or general questions about? Okay.
Other than it was a really good job.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm really excited that this is going to be the way that we kick off getting community input. And we'll launch it and we'll have the hyperlink available. I know Jane and Larry are working behind the scenes to make sure we get the paid version soon. So I do believe it's possible we'll have the hyperlink available for next week, for next Tuesday. That's the goal. So we'll see if we can make that happen, and then we can publicize it during the meeting. Okay, fabulous. Let's see, we've got John helping Jane out with partnering with Parks and Rec. Anybody want to volunteer to help make sure flyers get in the respective spots.
I'm happy to volunteer for flyer, but what is it for flyers for this, for the presentation for June 8th? Is that what you mean?
For the survey. So just a flyer
Survey.
saying we have the survey, go to this website to check it out and respond.
Yeah, sure. That's easy enough to do.
Okay, great.
And yep, you could put me down for that.
Okay, awesome. Thanks, Larry. And we can even use your graphic. I realize I never thanked you. Larry made the current graphic, the save the date, that has the map of the town and all the information about the meeting next week. So thank you for that, Larry.
I didn't think you were going to use it, but sure, that's
I
fine.
liked it. So I saw you did it. I didn't want it to go to waste. But we could just use that for the flyer and just change the text, basically.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay. Awesome. So we're right on schedule. So speaking of next Tuesday's meeting for the slide presentation, I just want to confirm that the slides themselves are final. I've incorporated feedback for those of you that I heard specific changes and additions for. And for those of you that didn't say anything, I assume that it means they are A-okay. So
Katie, I just have a question on the slides,
yeah, sure.
and I guess I apologize for a late comment. The way that we have the presentation set up, we have a slide in the beginning where we introduce all of the committee members and have a little blurb about our backgrounds. And I'm wondering if we should plan when we're presenting, if we should have a little bit more of a self-introduction when we before we start talking, so we could kind of introduce ourselves as we begin and give like a sentence or two on our background right when we kick off, rather than doing that all right up front. Maybe it's just the names up front and then we introduce ourselves when we do our portion. Otherwise, I think people might forget who's talking, when we get to that point in the presentation.
Yeah, I'm okay with that as long as it can fit into the 3-minute per slide allotment. So, for example, we each have 3 slides, I believe. So in your first slide, if you can say a few sentences about you and your background, and then say the rest of the information on your slide within that 3 minutes, or fudge it, 3 minutes, maybe three minutes and a half for the first slide, but 2.5 minutes for the second slide, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I did want to check with everybody. I do think it's important, just in introducing the steering committee up front, I just wanted to highlight from a very high level perspective the professional area of expertise for everyone. So for example, can you see the slide up on the screen?
Yep.
So for Charlene, her background is in municipal law and government. For me, my background is in finance and investments. Can we just quickly fill this in for everybody else?
Yeah, you can put down for me business analytics and technology.
Sorry, a little slow. Okay. Kirsten?
I would be historic preservation and urban redevelopment.
Cool. Okay,
Thanks for including me.
of course. You're vital to this operation.
Oh, yeah.
Larry?
And mine would be, I guess, real estate, finance, and development.
Okay. Mark?
Energy and infrastructure, planning and implementation.
Planning and implementation. Excellent. See, that paints a really awesome picture. That it's a very nice puzzle of background. So I'll start there, and then each of you can give a little bit more color within your 3-minute per slide allotment. Excellent. Let me save that. Okay. You just bring the agenda back up. Okay. But other than that, and I do expect, maybe each of you will want to practice and tweak your speaker's notes between now and next meeting. But I did post the new version of the slides on the Google portal. It's under communications. And you can go in, see your slides, and edit your speaker's notes as you wish. But for now, I don't know if there's any other general comments, but are we good? Everybody, show of hands, confirming that the slides themselves, the graphics, the words on the slides are final, and you're all good with them?
Yep.
Okay, I see a majority. Great. So confirming time limit on each slide, we've timed it out so that 3 minutes per slide will keep us to the 45-minute target for the event. I figure in terms of flow of the event, we can wait to start actually talking maybe until at least 7:30, maybe 7:31, 7:32 in this particular instance, just to make sure that people, since we're widely publicizing that this is happening, give people a chance to log on. Kirsten, do I need to do anything to alert them how to turn on closed captioning, or is it just appear automatically?
Zoom now has a feature of live transcription. So as I have it set to turn on.
Cool.
And if you went on YouTube right now, you would see the words I am speaking written at the bottom.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Pretty
it's-
amazing.
Actually, it's on our Zoom right now. We can see it.
Can you?
Yeah.
Oh, you do have to click a button though first on Zoom at least.
No, I didn't. It just,
No, you didn't?
no, it just showed
Okay.
up.
All right.
You may not. Do you see live transcription at your bottom taskbar?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. So there's nothing, people when they log on will automatically start seeing it, or it will be very clear how they can make it happen. So we don't need to guide them in any way there.
So it's on YouTube.
Awesome. Okay, thank you so much for setting that up, Kirsten.
Mhm.
And I'll start talking, but then at the transition of each slide, I'll say, I'm now going to kick it off to Charlene, and then Charlene can say, I'm kicking it off to John, and so forth. So it should be pretty seamless. Any questions about how that's going to work, the flow of the event, or anything like that?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. All right, we have a few extra minutes. So Jane, I'm gonna open the floor to you if you have any comments or questions on what you've heard so far. I know we don't have the special little time for you, but I'm sneaking it in.
Yes, just that I feel positively that we'll have the SurveyMonkey purchased by the end of the week so that you can have the link on Monday. I have little Post-its in front of me, and my follow-up is the first one, and I sent an email just before we started. But I feel confidently about that, so you all should as well. And then that's it. That's all I heard that you need from me. Although I can help with flyer distribution.
Okay.
I mean, when you said the appropriate place, you didn't say appropriate, but you used a specific word like the get where they need to go. Did you have places in mind?
So far we're thinking library, post office, town offices, maybe Parks and Rec.
Okay.
Um,
So
yeah.
Larry, I visit those places with frequency. So if you want to split that, I'm happy to.
Sure. Okay.
We have 3
I-
post
I-
offices and
I wonder if there's any frequently visited stores in town that would put them in, maybe like Greenway or Horse and Hound, I don't know. Any,
How should we do the printing? Because now we're talking about a serious quantity potentially.
I can. I'll do the printing, Katie.
Oh, cool. Awesome. Thank you so much. Great. So
Thanks, Kirsten.
then Larry, I might be did you volunteer to make the flyer or did I just make that up?
I think you just volunteered me.
I'm happy
how
to
about
do.
you make the flyer? Kristen will print the flyer and I can distribute the flyers.
I can also make the flyer if you want.
And
I mean, I can help with
distribute them.
distribution. I can help with distribution too.
Me
as
too.
well.
Yeah,
Make it a team effort.
I think that's a good idea.
Okay, got it. Team effort on distribution, but I can make the flyer, Larry. I don't want to put you on the spot for that.
Yeah. All right. I mean, I could do a quick draft of it and get your input on it as well.
Okay, team effort on that too.
Yeah, so the flyer should just be a little bit very brief, but just to intro what we're doing. This is how you can participate. You can go to the town website. I assume that the link should be on the steering committee page, I would think.
Yeah.
So it would direct people to the steering committee page.
Mhm.
And then the flyer would also designate at least a couple of places where they could pick up a hard copy if they needed to do a hard copy of it.
Yeah, perfect.
So I think it should be pretty quick and simple to put together. Yep.
And where do people return their completed flyer survey?
Their
Oh,
card.
they're not actually doing,
Yeah, I think they should return it to the same place that they pick it up. So I would think so. We would have like a limited number of places. Where they
I'm
could
not sure
return
you
it.
want them to return it to the post office or.
No.
No, I wouldn't think we would distribute it there. I think if we were distributing the hard copy, it would be limited to like a town office, Parks and Rec, and the library. Maybe
Yeah, right. That's different than the,
Mhm.
You'll have to ask the library if that's like a response. I think they'd be happy to give it out, but in terms of collection, it should probably come back to a town office. I would,
But you have a box, just a lock box at the town hall, like people use for voters. When you vote, you drop it in the town lockbox outside.
Do you have one of those?
yeah,
Okay.
it's painted like an American flag, I think. I think that, or maybe that's the flag drop. We have a drop box at the end of the driveway, but I don't know. Kirsten, what do you think about people dropping it off at the planning department?
I'm fine with that. Townhouse, it has 2 mail slots. There's a black mailbox for the town clerk at the back of the building. And then at the front of the building, people are paying their taxes at the vestibule with that, the door slot drop. I think I'd rather avoid townhouse.
Yeah, I think that
The
if
planning
Kirsten's happy,
office.
it makes sense for it to funnel to the planning department. So if that doesn't feel like overwhelm, which it didn't sound like it did, then that would be my recommendation.
Okay. That sounds great.
And you could
So-
talk to Cindy about whether they'd be willing to collect and drop off to Kirsten, or Kirsten can pick up, or, we deliver them after. That would be fine. The library is a good. But
yeah, if you're not using the townhouse, then the library is probably a good central location.
right.
So actually it occurs to me in terms of making the paper survey itself, we need a volunteer for doing that. So maybe,
I think Katie, I think there's the functionality in
Oh, there
in the survey program. I'm pretty sure. So
okay,
yeah,
great.
that should be easy. I'll volunteer for that.
Okay, great. And then Kirsten will print those as well. Okay, fabulous. Thank you so much, everybody. We're really moving along and I'm really looking forward to next week. Also looking forward to Thursday. So we'll see you back here 7:30 on Thursday. And that will be a really great session with Jan. We've prepped him that we want to discuss what is comprehensive planning, what is it not, sort of go through the process and best practices in the process and the outcomes, and also just highlight, based on his experience in working with the town, what might be interesting issues for us to look at, that, that have come up in the past, just his experience sort of just in general. So I'm looking forward to that as well. Okay, so we're at time here. I will move that we adjourn unless there's final discussion. I have a second.
I second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you so much, everybody. We'll see you Thursday at 7:30.
Bye-bye.
Thanks,
Okay,
Katie.
take care.